Hi everyone, this is Vineela from Indigoland. Here I am today to explain you a topic related to organization structure. This topic is Mintzberg Organization Configuration. This topic is very important from your examination perspective and it has a 100% chances of appearing either in your section A or section B of your question paper, and more chances were there to appear in your section B of your BT paper. Moving into the actual topic, Mintzberg configuration. This Mintzberg organization configuration was given by a management theorist who is named as Henry Mintzberg. And he has given his theory in the book, The Structure of Organizations and Structures in Pies. This is not important from your examination perspective. The point that is important is an organizational configuration which was related to a person, Henry Mintzberg. And it is named after his name, Mintzberg Organization Configuration. He has explained you or he has explained this theory in a diagrammatic form, and he has clearly said that every organization is made up of 5 key building blocks. The point you have to remember, in organizational configuration you have 5 building blocks or 5 stages, where first stage is strategic apex. It is topmost level in your organization. And the second level is your middle line, which is between your strategic apex and operating core. So the middle line is second one, and the last one and the foundation is operating core. And these 3 levels will be supported by technostructure and support staff. So let's see about each and every building block and who are the part of this block in the organization. So as I have mentioned here, each building block corresponds to a specific group of people within the organization. Of course, yes, every building block has a group of people who will be there in that block and different tasks they'll perform in that block. As we have seen, this structure has 5 blocks: strategic apex, middle line, operating core, technostructure, and support staff. Understand this, we can call it as hierarchy for an organization. Why? Because if you see, the top level is the highest level in the hierarchy, and the middle line is a middle level of your hierarchy, and the operating core is the last level of your hierarchy. And this hierarchy is supported by technostructure and support staff. So coming into the point, what is this strategic apex is? See, this strategic apex is at the top level of the organization where strategic decisions were taken. I hope you people know the Anthony's triangle. In this Anthony's triangle, he have clearly divided the organization into 3 levels. The basic level is operational level, second level is tactical level, and the third level is strategic level. So this is what we are speaking about, the strategic level, where strategic levels or topmost decisions of the organization were taken, like introducing a new branch in any other area, or introducing a new product, acquisitions, mergers, demergers, or any investment proposals. All this will be taken at this level. So this is a topmost level of the organization. The people who will be here are senior levels of management, board of directors, or someone like CEO, CFO, COO of the organization. Moving into the next level, middle line, or the second block is middle line. Here you will have middle management who will act as a mediators between strategic apex and operating core. Generally, the people who will be there here are managers. These managers will try to manage the operating core people, will receive the instructions from strategic apex and give the directions to operating core to run the organization. So the managerial level people in the whole organization will come under this middle line. And the third building block is your operating core. These are the people who will be the workers in the organization. These are the people who are involved in day-to-day activities, or you call it as operating activities of the organization. Or you can simply say that, take an example, a manufacturing unit. The people who works in manufacturing unit in producing products or converting raw material into finished good, those all people, laborers, workers, blue collar workers, all will come under this operating core. And the fourth or the fifth one, these are the people who are connected with these three levels. One is technostructure and other one is support staff. So coming to this structure, technostructure, these are the people who will provide with you technical inputs. These are not the people who have related to your core activities. There are people who are related to non-core activities but technical activities in the organization. Say simple thing, what these technostructure people are means, take a strategic accountant or a strategic financial accountant or a marketing head. If my company is a software company, then the technical inputs that will be given by a financial accountant and a marketing head will be part of my technostructure. So these are the people who are not related to core activities, but these are the people who are there in the organization to standardize our organizational procedures. So these are the people who will plan and control the work of others. These are people who are not directly related to your core activities. Remember this point. Understand, generally people will get confused. Who are these technical people? Generally in a software company, software are the technical expertise people. Software companies, technical expertise is there. But for that software company, the main input is software itself. They are the core workers of the organization. They are core activities. For that software company, if you take a financial accountant, strategic financial accountant or a strategic marketing head, these people will become technical heads and form part of your technostructure. Last building block, which is your support staff, is your administrative staff and provide you indirect services. So the people who works in the front office, the telecallers in your organization, and the watchman or housekeeping services, these all will come under your support staff. So all these were 5 building blocks of the organization, which has a main core, which is your ideology. Every organization will have an ideology. Because of that ideology only, the organization will run. To achieve that ideology only, organization will run. If this ideology is becoming top of the organization, then generally you will call it as a missionary type of culture. We'll go further when I discuss about ideology. I'll explain in depth about that missionary. For the time being, understand that along with these building blocks, every organization will have ideology behind it. That is nothing but the beliefs and values, their cultures, their beliefs, their ethics, morals, everything will come under their ideology. The norms they have in their workplace, all these points will be part of that ideology. So building blocks, remember in Mintzberg configuration, you have 5 building blocks. First building block, top level of the organization, which is your strategic apex. And the second building block will be your middle line. And third building block is your operating core. And these will be supported by 2 things. One is technical support, which comes from technostructure. And another thing is support staff, which gives you administrative support and indirect services. So when you have time, make sure that if you are following Kaplan, read this scenario so that it will make you more clear about your organization structure. What I do is, let me do this concept fast, this scenario, so that we can make sure that your concept about the structure is clear. There is a company called QPLC and it has 5 factories and the main activity is assembling children toys, each of which is run by its own production manager. Every toy assembling unit has its own production manager. So as 5 units were there, there will be 5 production managers who will report directly to board of directors of Q. All assembly staff in the factories report directly to the production manager. See the hierarchy level he is trying to clearly explain you here. First top head is board of directors, and then you have production managers, and then you have assembly staff. Assembly staff will report to production manager will report to board of directors. So if I see who are the board of directors, strategic apex people. Production manager will come under middle line. Assembly staff will come under operating core. That is what he is trying to explain you through this example also. Q's directors have recently stated that company must cut costs to maximize profits for investors. So what is the decision or what the idea they have taken into picture is they want to cut costs so that they can maximize the profits for the investors. Q has recently hired a job design specialist. This is the point. Who has started investigating how assembly workers' jobs should be organized and what's the most effective shift pattern would be to maximize Q's productivity. See here, he is not related to core activity of producing goods, but assembling the children toys, but he is related to making that assembly in a proper manner. You can say it as he is trying to make that procedure in a structured manner. That is why they have appointed this job design analyst. By understanding the word analyst or job design analyst who is trying to make the procedures in a right format, you have to understand that this person comes under Technostructure. Q strategic accountant has recently created a set of guidelines on claiming of expenses by staff, which company hopes will reduce cost. So there is another person in this Q organization who is called a strategic accountant. What is this strategic accountant has recently done? Generally, the staffer will be claiming the expenses, reimbursement will they'll be getting. So in order to claim the expense in a rightful manner, he has set guidelines. Through that, the cost will be reduced. He also trying to put the operational procedures in a streamline. So this person will also come under your Technostructure. Q factories also have number of administrative staff, including canteen workers and secretarial employees. The canteen workers and secretarial employees are the people who will provide you with administrative support, whom you will call it as support staff. If you see the question, it is quite clearly explained that every level in the organization, where he said that, let me summarize it here, board of directors, where you have production managers, and then you have assembly staff. These people you have here a Technostructure people, which is your job design analyst and also your strategic accountant. And here you have administrative staff, which is your canteen workers and secretarial employees, who will be called as support staff. See, the whole Mintzberg configuration is prepared here. The first one strategic apex, second one middle line, and third line operating core, and this one is Technostructure, and this one is support staff. So through this example, I hope it is clear how the Mintzberg has structured his organization. Tried to structure the whole organization into 5 building blocks. That's what I have explained. Board of directors, strategic apex, production managers, middle line, assembly staff, operating core, strategic accountant, and job design analyst will be coming as Technostructure. Administrative staff will be coming under support staff. So what is the concept behind your organization? What is the ideology? The ideology is a simple thing that I have read there. He has clearly said that board of directors are trying to reduce or cut costs and increase the profitability for investors. That is your core ideology for the time being or for that year. The directors have stated a desire for the company to be more profitable and cut costs. A desire which it is backed up by the actions of the Technostructure. So simply it appears that their ideology is to cut costs and increase the profits for investors. Simple thing. So this is the basic concept of Mintzberg configuration. But the real concept starts from here. What if one level or one building block dominates the whole organization? If one building block is trying to give commands, or one block is trying to control overall organizational decisions, then what you will call that organization structure as? Very important from your examination perspective. Make sure you are listening it clearly. So what Mintzberg argued that he has simply said that one of those building blocks which I have explained, the 5, can dominate within the organization. Where any one building block dominates, it leads to a different type of structure. That what it is your organization structure. But if any one building blocks dominates in the organization, then we'll call it as a different structure. So let's see who is dominating in the organization, and if he dominates, what type of structure you will call it as. Let's see, just a second. Yes, the first one. As a first one, the top level is your strategic apex. Generally, this is a normal set of organization where strategic apex or board of directors or senior level of people will dominate the organization. So if strategic apex dominates, you will call it a simple structure. So where you will see this structure, where generally strategic apex people will dominate. That simple structure can also be called as entrepreneurial structure, where the organization is a very small organization. or the organization is run by a few top managers. The top managers will try to dominate the organization. The top managers will command the strategic apex. So CEO has a very good knowledge, where he is a specialized person. He has a whole professional experience. Then he will try to dominate the organization, who is a part of your strategic apex. Then that type of structure will be called as simple structure. So what are the characteristics of the structure? That is what you have to remember for your exam. We know that strategic apex dominate, then we'll call it as a simple structure. We can also call it as entrepreneurial structure. But what are the characteristics of these organizations? Generally, these organizations will be new organizations which came existence in around 1 to 2 3 years back, and they'll have one or few top managers, and these people will try to control the rest of the workforce through direct supervision. There will be no middle managers here. Even though they were there, they will not supervise other people. The top level people will only try to supervise, because it's generally these type of organizations will be very small organizations, initial organizations, startups, you can say. Fast, flexible structure, because direct decisions will come from the top manager. There will be no lag in taking decisions. Directly communication will be given to other people in the organization. Only a few main managers will struggle to handle the significant growth. Why they try to handle this hardly? Because very few people will be there. When they're trying to grow, these few people have to handle the whole growth. In order to expand also, these people will be there. At the time, generally what they will do is they'll try to expand their organization from entrepreneurial type of structure to either a divisional structure or a departmental structure, when the actually the organization growth happens. So if you move to the second structure, make sure the first one is simple structure, which is dominated by strategic apex, and it will be have few top managers. It generally will be a new organization, and the decisions will be fast and flexible. And these organizations will handle significant growth, but it will go through some struggles while handling it. Second type of structure, machine bureaucracy, which is dominated by technical people in the organization, as these are the people who are providing proper guidance for the operational procedures, or these are the people who are providing proper guidelines or streaming the guidelines in the organization. These people will try to dominate the organization. If they are trying to dominate the organization, you will call it as machine bureaucracy. And generally this type of machine bureaucracy you will find in large established organizations. There I have clearly said you in entrepreneurial type of structure, a simple structure, it will be there in smaller new organizations. Here I am telling you machine bureaucracy generally will be there in large established organizations, and work will be in a formal way. No informal thing will be there. You have huge rules and procedures. That's why you are calling it as a bureaucracy. Bureaucracy is nothing but rules and procedures. Job and the roles will be clearly defined. Each and every job you are having and each and every role they are playing will be clearly defined, and you will have a clear plan and budget for your organization, because technical people are the streamlining this. They are the people who are providing guidelines, so they will make sure there's a proper plan and budget in the organization. That's why we'll call it as standardization. Standardized structure you will find in this type of organizations. Mostly you'll see in government organizations or government agencies and some type of manufacturing organization. That's why if you remember in India, we'll call government organizations as bureaucratic organizations. That is a reason behind it, because they follow huge number of rules and procedures. They'll have properly cleared jobs and roles, and already government job organizations are well established large organizations. So make sure you remember this: large and established organizations, rules and procedures, jobs and roles are clearly defined, and there will be proper plan and budget. This organization is famous for its standardizations. So moving into third one, professional bureaucracy, which is dominated by your operating core people. Ma'am, how operating core people can dominate? See, this happens in professional organizations. Take a CA firm or take a law firm, where people there will be all lawyers or professional chartered accountants or professional company secretaries or professional ACCAs or professional CMAs. So these people will be the core people in that organization who will run overall work in the organization. They are the people who will take the day-to-day decisions, and they are the people who will try to give the output to the clients. So as these are the people who are doing the work in the organization, they'll try to dominate the organization. As these are specialized people, professional people. That's why we are calling it as professional bureaucracy. So where operating core people dominates, we'll call it as a professional bureaucracy. Understand the characteristics. Simple thing, as there are professional people, it is highly skilled members of staff it will have. Generally, they're giving example like you can see it in medical and legal industries, and still bureaucratic. Why you are calling it as still bureaucratic is professional people fine, but it may not have the rules and regulations. No, this type of structure will have the same large rules and procedures, and but the reason behind this professional bureaucracy is decentralized decisions. Decisions will not coming from the top management like strategic apex. Decisions are coming from the lower level people, operating core. That's why you are saying that organization is following decentralized approach. Each and every person will have their own independence and their own power to take decisions regarding the work they are carrying on. So that's why we are calling it as the professional bureaucracy is following a decentralized approach, where if it is an strategic apex or a technocore people dominating, you can call it as centralized approach. It can be very difficult for senior management to effectively control this sort of organization. Why it is difficult? See, if operating core people are trying to take decisions and they are thinking that there are senior people or important people for the organization, what happens is, for the top management, it is difficult for the lower level people to control them, because lower level people are thinking that they are the dominant individuals in the organization. Understand this. For a top level management, controlling the operating core people in a professional bureaucratic type of organization will be difficult. Moving in the third domination, where your middle line people will dominate. If you have the idea of your divisionalized structure, organization will be divided into each type of division, like depending upon the divisions or depending on the product they're manufacturing, you can call it as division A, division B, division C, division D, etc. For each division, you will have a particular manager. So that's why you are simply calling it as divisionalized structure, where middle line people, managers will dominate the organization. Head of each division will have a great deal of control over the day-to-day operations and strategy of their part of business. If it is a divisionalized division A, the divisional manager of A will have control over day-to-day operations and also will have control over the strategic decisions that were related to that were related to division A. Understand? He is not just having the control on operating activities, but he is also having control on strategic part of his division A. And they will focus on a big picture strategic planning. See, board of directors will be there in the organization. But when board of directors were trying to take the decision will be taken after an approval of middle line managers only. They'll try to dominate in this decision making. So if you see the overall summary, just see, generally organization where middle line will try to dominate, you will call it as divisionalized structure, and each division will have an head and will have a control over day-to-day operations as well as strategy that operations or strategic decisions that were related to their business. And generally they'll have a big picture over the strategic planning, and this planning will be done along with the directors. Moving the last two, which is your advocacy and missionary. I've already said you, if you remember last 5 minutes back, if an ideology dominates your organization, if ideology is important, people, hierarchy, levels, their roles, jobs, it is not important. For me, my ideology is important. Then that type of structure is called missionary type of structure. The one that dominates in the organization is not any building block. The one that dominates the organization is their mission, their beliefs. Here, generally the ethics, morals, the behaviors will be important. So that's why they'll standardize those behaviors. How you have to behave, how you have to speak with your colleagues, what type of interpersonal relationships you have to maintain with them. Those all will be clearly guided. That type of structure is your missionary type of structure. The last coming to your part, which is advocacy. If you people know, you have a word called ad hoc. Ad hoc means temporary basis or requirement basis. So this is also here. See, generally here we don't say that support staff or operating core is trying to dominate, but we will say that support staff people will get right to take the decisions regarding to their field. Here also we'll try to follow decentralized approach. What we'll do is we'll create a team of experts. In every team you will have different people with different types of talent, and they will be given right to take their decisions because talented individuals from different fields were there in that team. So everyone will be there. Generally, you will find this type of structures or advocacy type of structure in pharmaceutical industries, high-tech companies or software companies. You can see. Why I'll do follow this is we'll try to make our decision decentralized with power being allocated. We are trying to allocate power to teams, people in the team. Standardization is not usual. Of course, here you will not find standardization. Standardization will not be there. No rules and regulations, strict guidelines will not be there. Here I'll be making a team of experts who will be from different fields and they will be trying to take decisions. Here it will be fast moving decisions and these will be mostly useful. This type of structure will be mostly useful for dynamic industries or fast moving industries, because dynamic or fast moving industries is nothing but those industries which goes on changing because of change in the external environment of their organizations. So having standardization or having a formal procedure will not work out for those organizations. These organizations require innovation. These organizations require new ideas. That's why these organizations will have advocacy type of structure. Rather than saying that operating staff will dominate, I'll try to say that operating staff will be given right to take decisions on their respective fields. Where if we ask a question where team of experts will be prepared and the team of experts will be having people from different fields and decisions are decentralized, then which type of structure you will call it as? I'll simply call it as advocacy type of structure. Or he'll ask you a question, which type of structure is an innovative structure? I'll say it as advocacy type of structure. Or advocacy type of structure, what are the characteristics? I'll try to say it is not a more formal structure, but it is a structure which is suitable for fast moving or dynamic industries where decisions will be decentralized and there will be no standardization. So mostly question will come either a very simple question or question like who will dominate the structure and what it is, which type of structure it is called as, or he will give a case law based question and he'll try to ask you the characteristics of that structure, or the depending upon the case law you have to explain which type of structure it is. So this is whole about your Mintzberg configuration. So I want to make you one thing clear, that make sure you are reading the whole concept clearly and understand the characteristics of each and every type of structure, because there are high chances that a case-based question can appear in your exam. A simple thing can appear in your part A or a case-based question can appear in your part B. I hope through this lecture I made this topic very easier for you. Make sure you practice more questions on this topic and mostly case-based topics. Case-based questions, try to solve them as many questions as possible. So next time I'll come with another great topic.